Hello and welcome to The Hop, a podcast designed to help small and medium business owners, as well as marketers, navigate the ever-changing landscape of marketing. I'm your host, Matt, and the owner of Purple Bunny Marketing, and today I am joined by Kira from River. Welcome.
Hello, thank you.
And today we're going to be talking about the power of radio and digital marketing. So let's hop to it. First question. Obviously, we're in an age of digital. Anyone can put an ad up on Facebook. Anyone can run ads digitally. But why is radio still relevant in this age?
Well, I think look at some recent survey stats that we've got on radio and the listening of radio. 96% of all Australians actually listen and still continue to listen to radio. It's a connection to not only your local market but national news.
Yes.
So you've got entertainment value, you've got news, weather, traffic reports. Here at River 949, we've not only got national news but local news as well.
Yes.
So these are all sorts of things that consumers are looking to get their hands on.
Yep.
With real-time information. You can't do that while you're driving, and
Yes.
we've got a huge market, especially in Ipswich and Brisbane for that matter, that those people are commuting for up to an hour, sometimes even longer, to get to work.
100%, yeah.
And like people like yourself and I,
Yes.
we're travelling between client meetings, we're going all over the place. So, you want to know that the traffic report's actually giving you the up-to-date information so that you and I know that we're getting to our next appointment on time.
Yeah, 100%. And I think you've hit the nail on the head there. Obviously, mornings and afternoons would be peak times.
Yep.
People are tuning in. They're stuck in the car. They've got nothing else to do.
Yeah.
And they want to know what's going on and be kept up to date, whether it is, traffic or weather or whatever.
Absolutely.
So, no, I agree. Definitely still relevant. Definitely works. And we're going to lean into that a little bit more and talk about that and how radio, I guess, can then support digital marketing. And
Yeah.
Obviously, from my opinion, it connects what you see on your Facebook.
Yep.
You hear it, you might hear it in the morning on the drive to work, and then suddenly it's in your Facebook feed at lunchtime or whatever. So,
Absolutely.
What's your take on that? How do you... I mean, you guys obviously run digital as well,
Yeah.
but how is the power of radio and digital working together better than just either?
Well, radio and digital actually are the two most powerful return on investment mediums.
Yes.
When paired together, mainly because of what you were just saying. It's that you hear about it, then you see it,
Yes.
and whether that's you get serviced an ad like on Facebook where
Yep.
somebody turns around and goes, "Hey, have you seen our latest special?"
Yes.
Versus, I'm in the need for a plumber or a hairdresser or whatever service or product that I might be requiring at that
Yep.
time. I've been hearing about that through a commercial radio campaign.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden I go, actually, I remember that person. I'm going to go and search them. So you
Yes.
find them through, your Facebook or your Google Marketplace listings.
Yep.
And then all of a sudden, you've connected the two together.
Yes.
That's why they work so well together. You hear it and then you go and find it, or you hear it and then you see it.
Yes, 100%. I agree. I always recommend radio and digital to my clients. I think it's important to have a balance, and I think you can't put all your eggs in one basket. So
No.
I think having that combination of both is important, definitely.
Absolutely.
So obviously we've talked about why it's powerful and why, how they work and how it supports, but I guess we are talking to small and medium business owners and marketers who may not have dipped their toe with radio before,
Yeah.
may not have experienced it. And obviously the world of radio is complex.
Can be, yeah.
Even sometimes I find out there's an offering that I didn't know existed, and I work in the space. But there's many things that people can do. Like, there's not just your straightforward commercials. There's so many opportunities on radio.
Absolutely.
So what are some of the opportunities that people can potentially consider?
Well, you've got 30-second commercials. Most people are pretty familiar with those.
Yep.
You can do them 15 seconds or longer.
Yep.
So that's just a standard recorded commercial by a professional voiceover artist with lots of sounds and wonderful noises in the background.
Or the business owner, if they really want to put their name on their brand.
If they really want to, you've got to sound amazing.
Yes.
But what will end up happening with all of that is it will sound very polished. It'll sound really and it'll tell the story of the business. So whenever we're talking to clients, we always say at a bare minimum, you've got some type of commercial campaign is essential to make sure that you're telling the story about it, about your business. So the other way that you can do that is through a live read.
Yes.
So a live read is where our announcers will be given a script, some dot points, and it's like, okay, for example, Marnie and Campo are a breakfast team, and they'll turn around and have a script about, the latest sale down at, this XYZ business, and they'll have, it's for this at time, and they'll have a bit of a chat between themselves and a bit of banter. The reason that that's really powerful is that every time an announcer speaks on our station, it's for a purpose.
Yes.
And it might be to deliver some breaking news or a traffic report. In this case, it's a specific commercial or a live read that the client has paid for. It's inserted and it sounds like a commercial.
Yes.
But then all of a sudden it's like Money and Campo talking about this sale.
What it is, and promoting it,
But then, you've got things like sponsorship, so you can sponsor the news or the weather or the traffic reports. You can do a promotion, so give away a prize and have your business be highlighted in a show, across the show, where it's, hey, we've got, $100 vouchers for this place, or we've got, we can give this away, or we've got this amazing holiday to give away. So there's a lot that can be done within that, and that's just on the radio station. That's not even talking about things like digital radio commercials that can be inserted into things like podcasts and streaming platforms, and even our own iHeartRadio app, where you can turn around and actually have your ad serviced to specific demographics and location basis. So there's a lot that can happen for your business. It's just a matter of having a conversation as to what's going to deliver the results and the outcomes that you're looking for.
100%. And I mean, I know there's many more options there as well. I mean, there's things like, things that I've done in the past is, the street team activations as well, where you get the shout outs and encourage people, if you've got a launch or an opening, it's a great way to get the radio involved, get the listeners to know that they're going to be there. You have your street team there giving out some freebies. It just helps to drive and generate that traffic through the doors.
Exactly.
So, to the broadcasts off-site that they do on-site at the location, there's just so many options when it comes to radio. And I guess, like you said, the key point is have the actual conversation. What's the objective? What are you trying to achieve?
Exactly.
And your account rep from radio can then present with you what is going to be the best way to get that outcome, and how you're going to get that result.
Exactly.
So, 100%. All right. So what is a common misconception you face when talking to business about radio? And I reckon I can guess it.
Radio is expensive. That is the number one misconception that we have, is that it's just too expensive. It's only for the big players in the market, and I can't afford any advertising of any form on your radio station, and that's just not the case.
I hear it all the time as well.
And it goes back to what we were saying just before. It's people think that they've got to be on air every single day. They've got to be heard in breakfast, and it's the only place. They've got to have very specific placement, and all of a sudden this pitch is formed, and it's actually a little bit. It's not doing the business owner any justice by thinking like that, because all of a sudden you've steered away from your objective, and you're thinking about what it's going to look like.
100%.
Your first thing is start with your objective, and then let's work out what can fit within your budget.
Yes.
Within the aspects of what we know will work for your business.
Yeah, correct. Because you don't want to be putting a campaign live that we know is not going to deliver.
Yeah.
But yeah, I agree. I think I hear it all the time that radio is expensive, but it's about, and we've talked about it in other podcasts, it's about knowing who your customer is.
Yep.
And your consumer, and understanding where they are. And maybe it's about understanding that, okay, my client is probably going to be more likely to be on the drive Monday through Friday at a certain time. So do I place commercials during that time, or do I place commercials that I might be wanting to talk to mums so I want to place my commercials later in the day when they're at home, they've dropped the kids off and they're whizzing around the house, potentially doing housework, or they might be, dialing into a Zoom meeting or doing whatever, and they have the radio on in the background. It might be, just considering when and where you place things, I guess.
Absolutely. Well, the one thing is that most people go, radio's a Monday to Friday thing, and forget that, we live very busy lives. So have you considered that, your ideal client, i.e. the mum, is actually driving the kids to soccer. Dance, every other activity under the sun.
Yes.
If they're a working mum, they're probably off to do shopping as well, any other errands that they've got to run. So they're probably doing that between, a certain period till 2:00 in the afternoon.
Yep.
That might be the right time to actually be targeting your client.
Yes, 100%. Yeah. I really do think, the misconception around the cost of radio is quite high. I think people really should have an honest conversation with you guys and with any station, and talk about, their objectives more so than budget.
That's right.
They can provide you budget options after that, but they can provide you options that are going to achieve the outcomes that you're chasing.
Yeah.
And I'd like to challenge anyone that says that they've got this much budget. That's fine, I understand that, but if you can get better outcomes, it's a matter of weighing up the options.
Yeah,
so.
and myself and my team are the first people to turn around and say, look, the budget that you have, it's not quite enough yet. What you should probably do is bundle 2 months together, focus your advertising and do something that's more beneficial to your business rather than wasting that advertising 100%, budget.
Yeah, and that's the end of the, at the end of the day, we're in a service-based business, both of us, and we're both trying to just get our clients the outcomes they desire.
That's
right?
all it is.
So, all right. So moving along, last question.
Yeah.
We'll wrap it up then. What's the number one tip you'd give to any business owner or marketer who's considering radio and they're just not quite sure? What would be the tip you'd give them to try and push them over the edge?
Know your ideal client.
Yep.
And have a marketing plan, even if it's a rough guideline.
Yep.
A rough guideline is a massive start.
Yes.
Because there's nothing worse than going, I want more business through the door. Okay, how are we going to achieve that? What else are you doing?
Correct.
And those are the types of conversations that I honestly do have with my clients, and my team does as well. It's, who are you talking to? How are you currently getting business? Why are they coming to you? All of those sorts of questions help us then turn around and go, okay, well, if that's working, then let's try and come in with something else that's going to complement what's already working. We're not here to reinvent the wheel.
100%. And we've talked about that in the last 2 podcasts as well. And I think the number one thing is just knowing who is your customer and know what's going on. And, I think the other thing that we talked about in the other ones is having a plan as well. We talked about it just in the podcast with Nick. We've talked about social media and how it can be a bit overwhelming. And I think that's the biggest thing I'm finding talking to business owners is they don't have a plan.
Yeah.
And if you don't have a plan, the wheels are spinning, but we're not going anywhere.
Yeah.
And I think that's fundamentally the common thing I'm seeing all the time is we're not taking the time to plan.
Yeah.
And understand our customer.
And that's the thing. Like take that conversation and then turn it into, well, I need a new piece of equipment.
Yep.
You've planned for that piece of equipment. You've thought about that piece of equipment, how it's going to help your business.
Yes.
Do the same thing with your marketing. it does seem daunting, and it probably seems daunting because you don't know about marketing. You're going, it's this huge juggernaut and I just don't understand. Well, take the time, have a consult.
Yes.
With someone like yourself,
Yep.
who can start to break it down and help you understand in real terms what that will actually do for you, rather than trying to, take this giant bite out of a marketing plan.
Yes.
And have tiny little incremental steps to make that happen for you.
Yeah, totally agree. All right. Well, I think we'll wrap that up there, but
Yeah.
we will invite Kira back to have many more conversations about radio.
Definitely.
And we might talk about other things more specifically, maybe how to write the best commercial,
Ooh,
or how to
that
execute a commercial, things like that. But
Yeah.
we'll continue to provide you guys with some information around radio and how you can get the best from your radio.
Yeah.
So, all right. So thanks for tuning in to hear and see more of The Hop, and to keep up to date with all the latest marketing trends, make sure you subscribe. Special thanks to Kira for joining me and sitting here talking to me
Thanks
about
for having me.
radio. That's okay. Well, thanks for coming in. And if you have an opinion about radio, or what we've talked about in this podcast today, please feel free to leave a comment below, or ask a question so that in future podcasts we can try and answer it for you.
Yeah.
And stay tuned for more from The Hop, and let's get your marketing hopping.